invariably going to be increasing your attributes anyways if you're going to be pumping skill points into your masteries. So that's why I skipped doing it. Let's see here. This gives you your town portal. This switches your weapons. These are your basic potions, blah, blah, blah. Yes, there are different... there are 2 different skill bars you can have, which is very convenient for those that like to actually min-max that. Let's see here. We've got our map window, which brings up our mini-map. This is for if we were playing in multiplayer. Let's see here. There's our achievements. Yes, we hope to actually get some achievements. I was actually hoping to do this I was not expecting you human achievement, where we have to slay Warden Krieg on veteran mode without having your character hitting level 11. But that seems like something I'm going to do by myself. And then we got the actual options menu here. Okay, so anyways, enough blabbering. Let's actually play our goddamn game. Spending enough time actually running at the mouth and not playing. And no, I was not intending to like bore everybody to death with that sort of shit. It's just, I don't know, you know, I want everybody to be on the same page. Maybe you've never heard anything about this game. Maybe this is the first time. Or maybe you just never really looked anything up and my series is the first time you're actually seeing it. So you want to know what everything else does? There you have it. So we got this guy named Feldus. We're going to die out there. Calm down. Where are you from? I was staying with a group of survivors down in Devil's Crossing, you know, the old prison, but supplies started running low. I volunteered to go scavenging around Lower Crossing, figuring it was safe enough, but I was wrong. I got chased in here by a pack of ravenous rift scourges, though I can't hear their maddening skittering anymore. I suppose I have you to thank for that. It doesn't matter, though. The area is overrun with the dead. We won't make it 5 feet without getting surrounded. I suppose I can open a rift gate. The rift gate being basically a town portal scroll. A what? Isn't that those things are pouring out of? Well, sort of, but mine will take you home. I'm having a hard time believing that after what I've seen up in Burwich. But you don't seem to have that look of a quote-unquote taken about you. I suppose this is my only option. So I'll see you back in Devil Crossing, dude. Alright, so we need to speak with Faldus, but we're not going to be able to actually talk with him because if I'm not mistaken, he's actually inside the gated off area, and we can't get access to that until we finish the captain's quest. So there you go. There was a really good incentive for coming back and backtracking and uncovering this stuff, right? Because that totally gave us this this other guy. My one problem is that I really wish the minimap did a better job of actually displaying NPCs on the map. Because there's a lot of times where, like, if you have a quest giver that's, like, say, right here, he won't actually show up on the minimap until you're, like, within range of the guy. You want to know something? I think that's that actual island. Ooh, I think we should backtrack, dicky. I don't really have that far to go. I think it's worth our time. I really want to do this. We are level 4. The monsters there were level 5. Right. But I just now noticed in the mini-map that we have this explored. And that totally makes sense that that's where the island is. Because you sit there and think about it, you're like level 5 enemies. Like, wow, this is, this can't be like part of the main quest as in like I'm going to an area that I'm completely outclassed for. It's more like, no, this is just a little secret area for the beginning portion of the game. Yeah, we can totally handle this. Yeah. And because these guys are level 5 and level 6, and I'm still level 4, we're going to be getting some pretty good experience here. My skeletons are doing a pretty good job of actually handling them. Do have to say. And if this is truly an island, there we are. If this is truly an island, then it makes sense that we should go through here and actually completely explore it first. So that way I don't have to backtrack and do it later. Because it will bother me. Oh yes. I am definitely one of those neurotic people out there that have to do it. And I think so. I think that these like these Naga-looking guys. I think they're called Siliths or Sliths in this game, and I think they have a chance of dropping a quest item called a Slith Necklace. Silith Necklace. Thingamabobber. Okay. Never mind. I thought I completed a component there. That's why I was giving it a second look. So just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, I am indeed going to pick up all items for a while. Because right now, we just don't make enough money. The monsters themselves don't drop enough money. Treasure boxes and, you know, the different, like, chests and whatever environmental bits that we can explode, they don't drop enough money. The shit we're selling just isn't worth enough money. So to play the economic game, as it were, at least in the beginning portion, we're going to pick up everything and then sell everything until I feel like we've reached that point in the campaign where we start actually making some decent and viable amount of money. In which case, I'll change the loot filter to you know, filter out all of the common shit, all this gray stuff. Okay, so we got a better two-handed firearm here, but we need Cunning, 96. We've got 4 points available, and no, one attribute point is not equal to one of these attribute points is not equal to one of the individual attributes when you press plus. It's equal to like 6 or something ridiculous. So for instance, we're at 64, we're at 72. Like, holy shit, that was worth 8. That's crazy, right? So we got one more. We needed what, 96? I try not to do this. Oh, perfect. Booyah, look at that. So I try not to actually do this where we're spending our attribute points to on one of the attributes just to satisfy one of the weapons or pieces of gear's like prerequisites. I really don't like to do that. But in the beginning, I feel like it's okay to do it because we're going to be pumping some skills into the 3 different choices here anyways. I think we're going to obviously put most of our attention in physique, but we are going to want to pump up spirit, I think, some. As far as cunning goes, I think... I mean... bonus physical damage, bonus pierce damage, bonus duration damage. So basically our damage over time, or dots. That's basically what that is. A cunning intellect improves your combat technique, increasing physique, pierce, bleed, and internal trauma damage. Cunning also increases your chances of landing a melee and ranged attacks and critically hitting opponents. Okay, so basically cunning also affects, it's not showing it here, but it also affects your 2-hit chance and your critical hit chance. All of those things I can really give 2 shits less about, okay, because I'm not trying to do it. However, the one contradiction to that is what I was saying before when I said something about potentially going with Reaping Strike. The reason why I want to go Reaping Strike, or my hypothesis, my whole like theory behind doing all this stuff, right, is that I'm going to let my pets do a lot of the work, and then I'm going to supplement my pets probably with some kind of aura, and then probably like a curse / debuff skill, like a main one, something that I can just sit there and do. If you remember back to my Diablo 2 campaign where I had the 1 skill point in amplify damage and I only had the 1 skill, so basically I was just any kind of plus to skills or plus to amplify specifically were applied to it, and then, you know, I got all those bonuses. But all I would do is I'd, you know, raise all of my skeletons, cast the amplify damage, and just spam amplify damage and just let my pets do all the work. And I'm thinking about doing the same thing here, but with the addition of a basic ranged attack via like a firearm, and then plus maybe a skill to go along with it, because just a regular melee attack ain't gonna do shit except in the beginning and maybe like a portion of the middle portion of the campaign, right? But infusing it with a skill such as Reaping Strike, I think might actually be beneficial for us, and it might actually do something. So it might be worth our time to pump a little bit into cunning. So there you go. Being very long-winded today. Feeling very chatty. Which is the perfect time to actually live stream, I feel like. Unfortunately, don't really have a whole lot of people watching this right now. Because as I suspected, is most people are probably at work. Oh, that's right, we're on the island. So it is an island, it's a donut-shaped island. Ah, we got a trapdoor. Wait, what? Can I shoot it? So I have a feeling that we may end up needing to read that lore script. Unless one of these monsters actually drops the key. Always want to kill the shaman first. Because if I'm not mistaken, he's the one that actually summons these guys. Holy shit, we're running out of skeletons here. Oh, we gotta pay attention to the number of skellies we got. So we got 2 melee and then one ranged. Perfect. Slith. Not Silith, but Slith. Quest item. Yep. If I'm not mistaken, we're gonna need a handful of them for a quest. If I remember right. I could have sworn there was something else around here. There we are. Another level. Wow, we're gonna get fucking bombarded here if I don't hold these things back a little bit. Like, I'm gonna get wrecked. We are playing hardcore here, so we gotta be a little conservative. That's one of the other reasons why I really hate going after other people's builds or reading other builds online, is because most people don't play on hardcore and their builds are garbage when it comes to actually playing something where there's some risk involved. So here we go, we got a magic or a caster offhand. And the reason why we probably want to go this route with a one-handed firearm, or at least a one-handed weapon, is simply because of the caster bonuses. So the regeneration is nice, but it's also got the plus 15% skill cooldown reduction. Really amazing. And I also have to say that we're going to want to actually focus on the CD, the cooldown reduction. We're going to want to focus on that anyways, because raised skeletons, when we get to the point where we're able to actually raise like 10 skeletons, we're only going to be able to do 3 at a time until we're, you know, our shit is done cooling down. So what is this? It's got a 18-second skill recharge, which means 18-second cooldown. So you can do the math on that. I'm pretty sure that this will be the only piece of gear that we actually have a skill cooldown reduction. Unless, of course, they put it in here as a stat. I don't ever remember seeing it. Magic. Okay, so here we go. Cooldown reduction. We got no bonuses. So whatever 15% of 18 seconds is. The question is should I actually switch over? This gun does a lot of fucking damage. 9 to 19. Yeah, I think this one actually does more because of its modifiers. But it doesn't do anywhere near the damage that this thing does. I think we're gonna hold on to the two-handed gun build first, because our skeletons are pretty weak sauce. I don't think they're at a place yet where they can kind of hold their own. And I think until we get to that point, I think we should probably back off. So I think the woven cord, yep, woven cord is your basic belt. Oh, there we are. There's our woven cord, which is better than our cloth strap. Perfect. And we got better shoulder armor here, but we need to have more physique. We should probably be pumping physique anyways, because that's going to give us more health. How much did we need? 109? Okay. You know, we also have our skill points here. So we're going to do 1 to raise skeletons, and then we're going to do 1 for Undead Legion. Undead Legion is basically... it's just the summon limit, and then the CD reductions. So this is going to give us more skeletons. Absolutely. So basically now... so there's our first round. Now we gotta wait for it to cool down, and then we can get our actual 4th skeleton. Copper Band of the Fox. Okay, there's our first ring. Cutting Spirit, health regeneration. Okay. Cool. So am I missing something here? Is there supposed to be like a secret? Because there's a trapdoor up here. Totally locked. Can't get into it. Where is the key? Or is this part of like some sort of like later quest? There's all kinds of shit around here that I missed. I'm just a little confused because this seems to be like its own thing here. Hold up. Let's go to Codex. Hargate's Journal. First day at my new lab. I must say I am thrilled to get started. These days of having my nose stuck in these books are over. There comes a time when studying old tombs reaches its limit. Eventually, one must set out on their own to pursue new ventures and ideas not yet considered. It is our sacred duty as scholars to leave a mark upon the world. My wife Helen and my dearest daughter Elena will be joining me soon at our new home. Helen has expressed concern about our little girl growing up in a laboratory so far away from other children, but I calmed her down. Elena will have everything she requires, and Burwich is just a short boat ride away should she ask for a playmate. Together, Helen and I are going to do something no arcanist has dared even consider: the creation of new life. The Aether is a wondrous source of energy, and yet nobody's stopped to ponder its effect on organic material. Helen's expertise in the biological arts should prove most valuable in this endeavor. So are they saying that they're basically operating on their daughter? That they're infusing their daughter with Aether?
I can't open that.
Huh. Well, I don't know what the fuck, man. Looks like we have a new helmet here. Okay, so the one we have equipped is better. Well, we got better straight up armor sitting here, so why don't we do that? Well, that kind of sucks. It is marked point of interest. All right, well, I guess we're just gonna have to remember it. I'm gonna have to Google this at some point because I'm curious now. Oh, there's our boat. There it is. I don't remember if I've actually ever done that before. Okay, so that required the dynamite. There's your untouched meal. We're just gonna leave the untouched meals alone. I don't know if there's an actual achievement tied to that. That's something I should look up. I'm just wondering if maybe there's an achievement where, you know, you have to consume every untouched meal in the game in your one campaign. Maybe there's an achievement for that. I don't know. Or maybe there's an achievement for never touching an untouched meal in your campaign. I mean, I can see one of them existing. Just not sure if they actually do. Should probably take a look at that, because I don't want to miss out. Like I said, I have really barely touched this game for the most part. And when it comes to the achievements and whatever else, we really haven't done much. Oh, by the way, we can get our 4th skeleton here. So in the beginning like this is where the pet build kind of sucks. Because first of all, it's kind of boring because you're just relegated to those couple of basic skills. Or basic summons. Basic attacks. But we'll get there. So I don't know if you could hear that. There was one of these zombies over here that I killed, and I'm like, ka-tink. Is that annoying? It's annoying to me because it just sounds like gear being dropped, but there's nothing. And why the fuck does a zombie make a kerchink noise when it falls? Shouldn't it be like more of like a wet slap noise or something? All right, so our star here indicates that we have, it's part of our quest. Okay, so let's do it to it. Okay, let's, Source of the Dead is near already. Oh, I was gonna say that the enemies that we were fighting before, the one problem with doing a pet build in the beginning is because, you know, when we're dealing with like hordes or swarms of monsters, it's gonna be really hard for us to actually mitigate that because we only have the 4 skeletons. The Will of the Wisp actually is a body out there, so it can get attacked and die. We always want to like fight those things, these aether thingies, because we would need the aether crystals for the devotion shrines. And that's basically what this is. It's a devotion shrine. This whole quest. Oh, shit, the boss here targeted me. No! Yeah, motherfucker. It's pretty easy to just like kite and dodge, but you do have these other monsters that it summons that you gotta watch out for. Still have all 4 of my my skellies. See, this is one of the reasons why I really want to have a ranged build with like a buffed up default attack, is for the reasons that you're seeing. I just don't know, like I was saying, I'm just not really sure if it's viable in the late game. I mean, you could sit there and make the case and say, well, you could do it now and then just respec later, which is something I'm considering. All right, so let's go back to Devil's Crossing here. I am still a little congested, if you couldn't tell by the sound of my voice. Just the remnants of the cold that I had.
Come see what's left of my wares.
We're not going to talk to the captain yet. We're going to just try to deal with our inventory. We're not going to want the shield. So the rest of the shit. I am actually going to keep the offhand because I just don't know what I want to do. I think we'll do something like that. We'll put it in my secondary slot. I like the sound of that. Right. And we have enough money here to buy some scrap. So we got 4 scrap here. I know it's going to be hard for you guys to see it, but there's a little tiny 4 right here. I do have to say, my one complaint about this game, I actually have several complaints, because of course I do. I always do. I always have some criticism. My one criticism I have of this game in particular is, like, I'm not really a big fan of its UI. I really wish it could be adjusted somehow. There's just something very, like, small and, like, chintzy looking about it.
Put it to good use.
I don't know the way to describe it. It's just like the font sizes and the color. It just doesn't look polished to me. We don't have access to the indoors yet, or inside the whatchamacallit, the prison, so we don't have access to our stash. Nice. Some magical pauldrons. as far as these 2 other item slots go, I'm not really sure what they are, because I haven't gotten that far in the game yet to be able to actually find equipment that goes in those slots. We have finished a couple of the components. For instance, let's see here. We finished chilled steel. So you have to be level 7 to use this. It grants a skill ice spike. And it does these other things. Flat cold damage, plus 12% cold damage, plus 10% physical damage converted to cold damage. So as you can see, the cold damage is kind of like this teal cyan kind of color. That's because of the item filtering mod thing that I have. That was the other thing that I was, what I was mentioning before, that it changes. I think it's just kind of handy. For some reason, we lost a couple of skeletons there. Don't really understand why. Okay, so Devotion Shrine is going to presumably going to be down here. Wow, where the fuck are you guys going? Get him! Oh, they're trying to attack the other enemies that were above us before. They're coming down. Trying to rush me. Shit. Alright, let's pick up our Aether Crystal. I mean, after we get done smashing the rest of these guys, of course. Nice. Gain another level. Okay, so before we do, actually, you know what? Fuck it, we'll just do it. So we got the Ruined Shrine here. Just for the sake of completeness, if we zoom in, the Ruined Shrines, the shrines themselves will always have a icon on the map, so you know what they look like. Also, if we go to the world map, you can see here, this is where we're at. This is the icon for shrines. If you see the little white, or excuse me, the red X, that means they're shrines that have not been completed. It means that you can still activate them and get their reward. Okay, the ones that have the green check mark are the ones that you've already completed. So, for instance, go up to this Ruined Shrine here. Shrines can be cleansed by either making an offering to the gods or defeating foes trapped within the shrine, depending on the type of shrine you encounter. So some shrines are going to be working like they're like monster magnets or something like that. In order to complete them, it summons like a pack of like unique monsters. This one just wants a Aether Crystal, which we have 3 of. It only wants the 1. And they do drop items, so they work kind of like a treasure box. We got some new trousers here, which are worse. Don't want them. So as part of our level up, that's where Ill Omen was. So the mere presence of the Necromancer is often inspire terror within your enemies. A ghostly wail. Okay, so this is like an AoE skill that's all around you. Yeah, I really don't want to do that. I'm going to hold off on doing Reaping Strike, like I said, until we get to, I don't know, maybe like somewhere between like level 10 and 15, when I have access to the second class. Because I'm just not really entirely sure if I want to do this or not. I kind of want to. I think it's a good idea. Because I don't want to go Reaping, or excuse me, was it Bone Harvest? Yeah, Bone Harvest into Soul Harvest. I really don't want to do that. I just don't think that the bonuses are all that... First of all, they don't really scale that well, the bonus to all pets. And secondly, I just don't feel like... I don't know. I just don't think it's worth the investment. Personally. So we got 3 points. We are trying to... I would really like to get up to like at least 15 so we can unlock Blight Fiends. But Will of the Crypt would be really nice to have. We have to get up to 20. So the next one of these will basically just reduce the cooldown and the energy cost. So let's just go straight up 3 into Mastery. Yeah. I think we'll do that. And we do have some attribute points. which we're gonna put into physique. Because we want those hit points. Oh yes, we are playing a hardcore character, man. We need to pay attention to that. So I'm gonna make when it comes. What was I doing? Skills, devotion. So we have 1 devotion point. That's the whole purpose of doing that. At first, we're gonna start off probably going crossroads, because if we take a look at the ascendant branch, there are a few constellations here that we really want to focus on. I want to say first and foremost that there is a tool out there. There's a utility, a website called Grim Tools, or grimtools.com, where you can do like all of the hypothetical builds you want to. And one of the things that they have in the devotion aspect of it that I really wish the goddamn developers of this game would implement, because it totally makes sense, is that it has a search function. It has a search function. So if you wanted to search all of the stars here for like a bonus to pets, it'll highlight every single star that has a bonus to pets. Or if you wanted to say do, I don't know, life leech or something, you could type that in and it'll highlight the stars. There's nothing like that in game, so it's just one big clusterfuck. And there's just, I don't know, like it's the same problem that I think that Path of Exile had, you know, because it has its huge skill web. It was really cumbersome. I know it turned some people off. It did turn me off, but it was just, they have this big monstrous thing here, but no way to really navigate it. You get to zoom in and out, but that's it. There's no way of really like organizing anything other than, you know, by their affinity class trees, I guess. Not really class trees, but just their paths. So I think we're going to go with the plus 18% offensive ability here, so we can unlock the Ascendant. Because I think the very first constellation that we're going to focus on is Shepherd's Crook, which is pretty good. It's definitely a all pets kind of thing. That's what we're really trying to go after. And also we're going to have this the skill that we get to assign it to one of our skills. It basically just enhances one of our skills. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Shepherd's Call, you want to put that on, I think, on your raised skeleton skill, if I'm not mistaken, I think. Also, the way it works is you could totally take off points from certain things. So for instance, if I said put this into this portion of the crossroads, and then we completed Shepherd's Crook, which is going to take another 5 devotion points. If we didn't like that decision, we can actually, you know, take our devotion points out and put them in something else. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that the affinities really start coming into play later on in the game when we want to get into the tier 3 constellations, like, say, where's one of the ones that we want to focus on, like, say, Dying God up here. This is a tier 3. Like, to even get to that point, we're going to need 8 of these chaos affinities and 15 of these blue primordial affinities, which means that we need to complete the earlier constellations. So Shepherd's Crook, for instance, we're going to be able, it requires the 1 ascendant affinity that we'll get from this crossroads here. So, and then when it says the complete constellation bonus, is basically when we complete this, we'll have 5 ascendant affinities now to actually move to something else. So really important that you can't just go willy-nilly where you want to go and invest in. You actually have to really plan this out, because if you want the tier 3, or if you really want to like max out like so many like tier 2s or whatever, you need to have the prerequisite affinities for them. Also, I probably should make mention for anybody out there that is brand new to this game or just not really clear on how this works. You have these 2 different stats here: offensive ability, otherwise abbreviated as OA, and then you have defensive ability, which is often abbreviated as just DA. And basically, the way it works, it's just really simple. It's like a 2-hit number. If your offensive ability number is higher than their defensive ability number, you're going to have like this absolute ability to hit them. It's basically like your 2-hit or 2-defense type of thing. So the higher your defensive ability allows you to avoid enemy hits more often, decreases the chance of suffering a critical hit, and reduces the damage taken when you are critically hit. Defensive ability is affected by skills, items, and physique. Let's see here. What does it says? Minimum chance to be hit is 60%. Okay. So I just want to make sure I got that out of the way. I know that like when you come into a new Diablo clone action RPG, there's going to be a lot of learning curve kind of shit when it comes to like some of the stats, because a lot of games like label things differently and introduce like new stats like that. Gonna be a lot to take in. All right, enough talking. Let's get back into our campaign here. So I apologize to anybody out there that are already well versed in this game, and this is just kind of an insult to their intelligence, or just they don't have the patience to deal with it. I understand. I feel your pain. But just keep in mind that, you know, I do have presumably other people that are going to be watching this. You know, people that are not so well informed about the game mechanics. And I don't want to, like, tailor make this to just the hardcore fans of the series, or the people that are already invested in it. That is a criticism I have, by the way. Create entertainment. Is that the shit that you can interact with? It'd be really nice if I was able to see these guys a little bit better. These, like, corpses and stuff, they just blend so much into the environment. Which, I mean, aesthetically is a good thing, but functionally it's terrible. So you want to get rid of the Aether Crystals first, because unless that's been changed, they can summon new monsters. Oh shit, we're out of skeletons. Holy shit. Like, why are these enemies still existing? Where is my army? Let's see here. We got new pants. Okay. We will have access to, once we complete one of the, I think, main quests, it'll give us to a backpack, which will be just basically more inventory spaces. It won't be, like, that much further away, but it is going to be a little bit further down the road. Wow, this weapon is terrible. When I was just doing, like, a little test campaign before I started recording this, I got really lucky, and I was finding, like, some really godly, like, starter gear. And for a second there, I thought, well, maybe I just won't do, like, the whole, like, self-found thing. Nah. I don't want to do that. 100% self-found. I think we're gonna take a quick detour back to town, just so I can sell this stuff. Oh, we should probably talk to the captain, eh?
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Seems a little ridiculous that we haven't done that yet. It does have some more scrap, but we don't have the money for it, unfortunately. What is this? Bloodfang oil? Interesting. I think it... Huh. I don't think I've ever had one of those before.
The dead attacks have slowed and their numbers are thinning. I take that as a sign that you've dealt with the source? A creature was doing this? Disturbing. Thanks to your efforts, we may yet hold out here a little longer. I've sent word to the gate guard. Speak to him and he should let you in. Take some well-deserved time to rest and recover. Welcome to Devil's Crossing.
Dankeschön!
I need some time to plan our strategy. In the meantime, there are others around Devil's Crossing who could use your help. Take a moment to mingle with your fellow survivors. Kasparov, our resident scientist, is really eager to speak with you. He babbled some nonsense, but I believe he wants to talk about your connection with the Ethereals. Barnabas, our handyman, said he needed help with our water pump. When you're done assisting them, speak with me in my office inside the prison.
Where can I find them?
Both are outside the prison. Kasparov is in the house next to the giant rift gate, and Barnabas keeps his camp by the windmill on the south side. You can't miss it.
Got it. I will speak to them. Okay, so we got 300 iron bits, basically 300 coins, 300 monies, then 500 Devil's Crossing reputation. Let's see, your faction button is not that button, that button. So right now we are tolerated. We definitely want to be more than just tolerated. Okay, so we've got to go in here and talk to a whole bunch of people. We definitely want to talk to resident scientists, man. But I think I'm going to take a break. We've been playing for about an hour and a half straight here. I need to eat some brekkie, man. I need some Frühstück. Need to put a little victuals back inside my system. So I'm going to go and get a little bit more tea and a bite to eat, and I'll be right back. When I come back, we're going to talk to all of the people inside the prison, explore the prison, and then talk to Barnabas and Kasparov, Kapersky, or whatever the hell his name was. Then continue on with our campaign. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Probably take me a good maybe 10 minutes or so, I think, to give myself to eat. Just going to do just a real quick chow time. So I'll see you in a few.